This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
And I'm Alora. Oops.
You forgot you needed your mic.
Yes, oopsie.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We have a very interesting show. We're going to talk about Emily Pike, something that I've been following for, since it started. And I wanted to wait until there was a little bit more information, and we've got some more out, so we're going to talk about that today. But we've had a pretty good week. Did you have a pretty good week, Laura?
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, it's been really busy. I work in a nursery, and spring has officially sprung. So we've been getting out there, and that's been a lot of work. So adjusting to that. But other than that, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of paperwork and FOIA requests and stuff like that. And I actually kind of wanted to talk about that right now while we're live, because I seem to suck really bad at trying to come down here and put a video together to actually explain the FOIA requests. So in case anybody doesn't know, I have been doing the Freedom of Information Act requests for the Nicholas Godejohn Gypsy Blanchard case. And I started in November, and I finally got the first set in January. And that came along with the Greene County report, crime scene photos, the messages from Aaliyah, things like that. So that was the first set that came in. And then the second came in was the second thing that came in was from the DOC. I think Trixie just released it a couple of days ago, maybe even yesterday. I can't remember. And I do want to thank Trixie and everybody else who has helped us get the word out that we're the ones who did the FOIA requests. So I got the Greene County report, then I got the Nicholas Godejohn report from the DOC, and then I got the two other Nicholas Godejohn reports separately. And I also have something on Gypsy from the DOC. I've got to look at it more and figure out what it is. And so, yeah, I'm doing that in the background, and I'm also doing other FOIA requests for other people, that has nothing to do with that case. And for the most part, they are free unless you're doing Gypsy Rose. And then it's really expensive. Mm-hmm. So I have actually personally put in for all of the, that would be 4 requests that I've gotten. I've paid a little over $500 every time I go and mail something. It's $10.10. So you've got at least the 5, including the one that actually got dismissed or refuted because I asked for the medical records.
Ah,
So
well, yeah, yeah, we
yeah,
can't give those out.
I was thinking it was from Chillicothe. I was trying to just get all of the information from Chillicothe and the case and everything. And I wasn't
Yeah,
thinking, and it was my first go
No,
around.
I
So I
get it.
wasn't hip on all the rules and everything. So so I did that, and then now I have put in the $100 deposit for the other FOIA requests that they are 40% done. They're 40% done with compiling all of the paperwork and everything. So should be a couple of weeks. Hello, Bubbles. Nice to see you. And everybody else who's in here. I know I saw
Hello,
Justin
everyone.
earlier, and Feel Good University. I don't know who that is. That's the first time I've seen that. But nice to see you guys. And so, yeah, I've got, I paid the $100 deposit for the upcoming FOIAs, and they said that it will cost at least $700. So tack on at least another $600 for that. And I was, buying them and not even thinking about getting reimbursed. And Alora and my husband were like, you shouldn't do that. From the very beginning, they were like, you really should watermark it and do all that stuff. And I was like, oh no, I'm just, I don't want to be, like somebody else. And
We don't want to seem like credit's the most important thing in the world. And
yeah.
I think the only reason why we even started to care was just because people were pretending that they had submitted them and bought them, and I think that's the only reason why we even cared to begin with.
And I think some people have bought them since we bought them.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
we got them in January, and I started emailing them out in January. So
funny enough, not that many people were even interested in them. So
right,
but
I sent them to quite a few people, and I was really shocked that no one picked up on it a lot sooner. So,
but hey, it is what it is. All that matters is that the information got out there.
Yes,
so, do
yeah.
with it as you will.
Hello, Joy. Good to see you. And yeah, I just did it out of for history's sake, and then I wasn't thinking about the money and everything like that. And then I got to thinking, I'm not making any real content on this information, and so
if anyone feels so inclined, not that anyone's indebted
yeah,
to
no.
us, all she's saying is if anyone would like to be kind enough to chip in for that, for the greater good, then every little bit helps and is appreciated.
Yeah, and some people are even giving to Military Broadcast Radio directly,
which is awesome.
Yes, so all of that money will go directly into MBR's pot to help veterans,
which is a charity and
yes.
501c3,
Yes.
all of that stuff. So.
Yes, most definitely. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up a little bit and talk, because like I said, I don't really make independent videos as of yet. I have been working on the Athena Hogan case. I've been down here piddling with it, but I was waiting for some interviews that haven't come about. So, but eventually I'll get that done. So anyways, we are going to move on, and we have ParaWomen Radio. I always call her ParaWoman Radio. I don't know why. I always get it wrong. ParaWomen Radio. Amy from ParaWomen Radio. So we're going to bring her up, and we're just going to talk to her about Emily, and just kind of bring this case to you guys and see where we go.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hello, Amy, and welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm really good. It feels good just to be able to lay back, sit back, and just, talk. I don't have to run a show or anything. Just be here.
I know.
And I made it. I made it.
Yeah, and you're actually on camera this time, which is rare.
Yep, I'm trying to come on camera more.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay, so Amy, can you? Amy, can you tell us a little bit about your show to the people who have never seen your show before?
Oh, well, we're We're ParaWomen Radio, and we are plural. I always say we're plural in the women. It's because when we started, there were 4 of us, and then there were 3 of us, and then there were 2 of us, and now there's me. But I'm the founder. I'm the one that founded it. And so, yeah, and we cover true crime, paranormal, conspiracies, and and whatever really interests me, to be honest. But those are the 3 topics we mainly cover. And I'm really excited to cover this. I've been wanting to cover this epidemic. And I've even talked to a few families about this before this even, and I had offered, to help them out and to bring them on the channel. And I understand it's like really hard to do, and so those fell through. But when you said you wanted to do this case and asked me, I was like, yes, absolutely. So I'm so glad we're doing it. And I put a little video up over on TikTok, and I've been getting a lot of response from Indigenous families that need help because it's an epidemic.
Yeah, it really is.
Like Indigenous people, they can literally go.
I didn't really understand how prevalent it was until my cousin told me about the missing, murdered, and Indigenous women and girls. She told me about the website, and I went and checked it out, and I was completely shocked. I knew about the Highway of Tears in Canada. I think that's what it's called.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, I knew about that, but I didn't know that it was everywhere. And so now I'm trying to make it a point to educate myself and to learn as much as I can and share the stories.
Yeah, it's not just like in the United States. It's like Canada, United States, Mexico. And from what I understand, it's because they own their own land. So the United States is like, well, we're not allowed on it. We're not going to try to find it. And then people come onto their land and, they steal them off of their land. And then when they come off of the land and then they get stolen out in this world, nobody cares. And it's just, we care, of course, but it needs to be brought to light. Sorry, I've got a little bird that is fighting sleep. The change he usually goes to bed at 7 and he's up.
Hey, no worries, he's up a little bit past his bedtime.
Sorry, you guys.
No, you're good. We've got a little dog running around here somewhere. He'll probably poke his head up in a minute.
Oh yeah, he'll jump up
he's
here.
playing with the bell, so...
Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I grew up in Oklahoma, so Native American issues are something that I grew up with, something that's important to me. I grew up around the Comanche Nation and the Kiowa Nation. Now there were several other tribes as well, but I mostly spoke to or interacted with Kiowa and Comanche. I actually have one of my cousins is Shoshone, and then 2 of my cousins are Kiowa, and so it's pretty interwoven into my life and my history, and so it's something that I definitely want to bring more light to. So I'm gonna present this little thing that I made up.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Yeah, it was just easier for me to get everything in order. So I came down here today to do it. So this is Emily Pike. She's 14 years old, and she went missing from Mesa, Arizona. It's a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. And she went missing from a group home, and it was actually a group home that was run, I guess, by the tribe. Is that what you got?
Yeah, well, she was in custody, tribal custody, and they put her in the group home. And I don't know if it was a tribal group home, but she was in tribal custody. So
okay,
wow.
Yeah, that's something I need to figure out. So, Alora, since you're over on that side,
what am I looking at?
I want you to start reading off the different things that it says.
Like the whole thing?
Yeah, just start at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So it says Emily Pike, a 14-year-old member of the San Carlos Apache tribe, was tragically found deceased February 2025 after being reported missing from a group home in Mesa, Arizona. Below is a detailed timeline of events surrounding her case.
Yeah.
Okay. So in September 2023, in early September, Emily was hospitalized due to self-harm incidents. September 11th of 2023, Emily and another resident ran away from the group home operated by Sacred Journey in Mesa. They were later found at a local playground and expressed reluctance to return, discomfort with the home's environment. By the way that this is all written out,
Sorry.
it's very hard to read. Sorry if I'm totally out of frame. Okay. September 20th, Emily was reported missing again, but was located shortly after. She mentioned feeling uneasy due to conflicts between staff and other residents. October 31st, 2023, Emily ran away for the fourth time, but returned later that evening. Staff noted she mentioned being laced, potentially drugged, but did not seek immediate medical attention. On January 27th.
Okay, so let's stop there. Okay, so she had been in this place since September of 2023. And she had ran away at least 4 times. So, Amy, you were a social worker, weren't you?
Yeah, my first social work job was actually as a case manager for foster care in the Detroit area. Yeah.
Okay, so can you kind of tell us a little bit about, what would happen when somebody goes to a place like this, a 14-year-old?
Well, okay, so keep in mind this was in the late 90s that I did this. So
Yeah.
Times do change, but her being in a group home tells me that they weren't able to place her in a home, or she had been placed in a home and she was known to run away. So they put her into a group home. Now, I had heard that the friend had said that the reason she was running away was that she was running away to go home. She wanted to go home. So
yeah.
Wow.
They would have just brought her back to the group home.
Our internet froze. I don't know if you're speaking.
Oh,
no, okay, we're good.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know the situation. I don't know if she if they tried to place her in a foster home or not. I've dealt with a lot of personal experiences with group homes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was in an orphanage like type situation. And then a couple of my cousins have been in foster homes, group homes, things like that, even juvenile detention centers. And so when you have a troubled kid, it's really hard to navigate how to deal with what's going on, depending on.
Group home is not the ideal. You want to put them into like homes. And so if she was in a group home, then there was reason why she was in a group home. There was either no homes, or she was running away from a home that's not secured, that she had to be into a group home, or she had behaviors. And it did sound like she had behaviors, but I mean, what child
doesn't?
Yeah, what teenager doesn't have behaviors?
Yeah.
And it worries me that like nobody knew she was missing for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said actually. So we'll just start here. So January 27th of 2020. No, you're fine. No, so January 27th of 2025, 7 p.m. Emily is reportedly left the group home through her bedroom window. 7:45, she was last seen on foot near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road. And I also heard that there was a group at the home at that time, and they were doing some kind of group event with the kids. And so it allowed a distraction for Emily to actually leave the home.
Oh yeah. So, okay. It kind of, there was the last case that one of the few last cases that I had before I left. I had this group of boys, these 3 boys, brothers. And I remember I was able to place the 2 brothers because, they were young and just, they hadn't experienced what the oldest brother had experienced, and he was in a group home, and my sole goal was to get him into a home and get him adopted, because being in the group home, he was becoming worse and worse and worse. And I think about that kid to this day, because I did get him into a home before I left, and I just hope that it worked out, because it's heartbreaking. The parents will abuse the kids, and it doesn't matter what the parents do. The kids always want to go back and be with the parents. And when they can't be with the parents, they just want a family. And putting them in those group homes is just kind of brutal for kids.
Yeah,
Imagine.
I agree. And I could never be a social worker because I would totally
Just try to take them all home.
Yeah, I would totally try to take them all home and fix everything. And, I just can't. I would be so distraught.
Yeah, I burnt out. I burnt out like I'd say 6 years. I did it for like 20 years. And every 6 years I would like burn out. I'd be like, twice I did it. I tried to become a teacher, and that didn't work, because there's a reason why teachers do all their, teaching certificates and classes. And it was much more difficult than I thought. And I went into the inner city thinking, well, I'm a social worker, I can do it. So that didn't work. And then I tried to be a legal assistant, and that didn't work, because I learned that I'm much more the type that needs an assistant rather than is an assistant. So
Yeah, I actually, I went to school for teaching for a little bit, and then I changed my major to children's ministry. And when we moved up here to Missouri, I thought about doing some substitute teaching, but I don't think that I should do that.
yeah, I did that for a little while. And I learned that just going into high schools, and I'd be like, look, I don't really care what you do, just as long as you're quiet and you're not doing anything, just like, I'm a person, you're a person, let's just get through the day. That's kind of how I handled it, and that kind of worked. So
Yeah, I substituted at a Christian academy, and they're really no different than public school kids, because usually the kids that are kicked out of public school get sent to the Christian academy.
Yeah, I was going to say the kids there were worse.
I would say they're worse.
Yeah, definitely. They're trying to find Jesus.
And I taught from K3 to 12th grade.
Wow.
But they would actually make you teach, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I would actually have to teach.
When I was in public school, like the substitute teachers they weren't able to teach or anything, but they would make you like look through lesson plans and stuff.
Oh yeah. And the worst thing was doing math for seniors.
Wait, you were teaching math to seniors?
I was trying.
She was a substitute
Seniors.
teacher.
Oh, I was thinking senior citizens. Never mind. Seniors. Got it. Wait, what?
Why not?
Yeah, I have math trauma, so yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm terrible at math. Okay. I'm trying to get that off, but
Yeah, it's probably not an ideal place for her. It doesn't sound like she wants to be there. No kid wants to be in a group home. So yeah, I understand why she would run away.
Yeah, like I said, I've had much experience with group homes. Not me personally, but a lot of my family. Yeah. So it's a really tough situation.
Yes.
Okay, so by 8:19 p.m., the group home manager reported her missing to the Mesa Police Department. So now, January 28th, police were informed by group home staff that Emily was on medication for mental health and behavioral issues, and had a case manager with the San Carlos Apache tribe. January 29th.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
You look like you're struggling. Okay. I'm struggling too. It's kind of hard to read the small print. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. January 29th, 2025, a statewide missing persons bulletin was issued for Emily. On February 2nd, 2025, an anonymous caller left a voicemail at the group home claiming Emily was with her mother on San Carlos Apache tribal land. By the 6th of February, a Facebook post echoed the claim that Emily was with her mother. The next day, on February 7th, 2025, a group home staff reviewed the February 2nd voicemail. February 11th, 2025, police were officially notified about the voicemail. Emily's mother confirmed she had not heard from her daughter, indicating that the tip was false. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
February 14th, 2025, human remains were discovered in trash bags along the Highway 60 near Globe, Arizona, approximately 100 miles from where Emily was last seen. On February 19th, 2025, the Bureau of Indian Affairs contacted Mesa Police, suspecting the remains might be Emily's. On the 27th of February, authorities confirmed that the remains belonged to Emily Pike. The very next day, on February 28th, 2025, the Arizona Department of Child Safety initiated a licensing inquiry into the group home where Emily had been living. So, about a week later, on March 8th, 2025, the Gila County Sheriff's Office requested surveillance footage and tips from the public as no persons of interest had been identified. On March the 10th, 2025, a day of action was held with multiple groups rallying to call for justice for Emily. On March the 15th, 2025, a candlelight vigil was held in Emily's honor. The San Carlos Apache tribe announced a $75,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. By the 18th of March, 2025, a multi-agency task force was formed, including the Gila County Sheriff's Office, San Carlos Apache Police Department, Mesa Police Department, FBI, and Bureau of Indian Affairs. Good thing that they got all those people involved, but a lot of times, very few people even get involved in this.
Yeah.
By March 21st, 2025, the San Carlos Apache tribe offered a $75,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for Emily's M-word. Not trying to get taken off YouTube here. March 24th, 2025, the San Carlos Apache tribe urged the Arizona legislature to pass, it looks like it might say HB 2281, which was that like a...
It's a law or a bill.
Like a bill, okay. To establish a missing Indigenous person alert system called for stricter group home regulations. Okay. And then the last one on here is March 25th, 2025. A day later, Senate Health and Human Services Committee Chair Karine Werner called for a probe into the Arizona Department of Child Services group home regulations in response to Emily's untimely demise.
Yeah. Okay. So we went over a bunch of stuff that happened. Emily was found in 2 trash bags.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, we know what that means. And not all of her was found either.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So a lot of people are saying that it might have been, because it was the hands, identifying,
Wow.
Fingerprints and things like
the
that.
hands or what was missing or what?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can understand the motive or thought process behind that, but that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. So
are they saying what they think happened to her, or do they have any leads or anything?
So what I heard on I was watching Grizzly True Crime, and she said that there were the mother had said that there were 3 suspects that the police were looking into. Now I don't know, if that's true or not. We don't really know, but
They go into any information about it?
No.
No, they don't know if it's somebody from the tribe or from outside of the outside of the tribe.
Chances are, if she made it home, it was somebody from the tribe. If she didn't make it home, then it was probably not somebody from the tribe. So,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Now, so Chris McDonough from the Interview Room, he actually is live right now, I believe, talking about Emily's case. And he has actually gone out to the scene. He's spoken to people. And he actually started something called Operation Lady Liberty or something like that, where they train Native American detectives in this kind of investigation. They're actually teaching them how to tackle cold cases and homicides and things like that. So I'm hoping with him being involved that some things will get accomplished. So hopefully.
I see over here I was looking up some things on her, and I see that she was taking some mental health medications. She had some behavioral and mental health.
Yeah, I don't know what she was on. It did say that she tried to self-harm, but other than that, I don't know any other details. And there was also a story circulating that I don't know if it was the roommate, but somebody said that she said that she may have been going to go visit a boyfriend.
Oh.
She was learning guitar, I guess.
Oh
And
yeah. I heard. Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't see anything else about that. So I don't know if that was just, a rumor or, what. I don't know the context of that statement, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
had heard it was just a friend. I didn't know it was a boyfriend. I did hear she was learning to play guitar, which I thought that was so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, Joy, we're freezing again. But okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so Emily Pike, a 14-year-old member of the San Carlos Apache tribe, was placed in a group home due to challenges within her family environment. In 2022, when Emily was 11 or 12 years old, the San Carlos Apache tribe's social services department removed her from her home on the reservation. This decision was influenced by a troubled family life and behavioral issues that necessitated intervention. Emily's family situation involved instability. She lived with various relatives, including her brother, mother, grandmother, and aunts, in a crowded and frenetic household. Her father had a history of incarceration, and her mother, who had custody, was reportedly not always present for her daughter. So all of these circumstances have contributed to the tribe's determination that she have alternative living conditions. So,
It
yeah,
seems that the people that were placed in charge of her weren't paying very close attention.
no, and in those group homes, they normally don't really.
No, not that I'm surprised. It's just, again, I don't know what kind of, home life she had. So I don't want to speak on it and say whether it was the right or wrong decision to place her elsewhere. But just makes me think it's like a lot of times when children are rehomed into, different systems, it's not much better than, what they were already dealing with. It really just depends. Sometimes you have a really great situation, and then other times things like this can happen. So
Yeah.
Yep. The Turpin kids, some of them were put into the foster system only to be abused again by their foster families. So
Yeah, and I actually just seen, it was either today or yesterday, that they're did they win a suit, or they're suing the
I know they're doing something. Either they won it or they're starting it. I saw that too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They should. I mean, if the government or whoever, the state's going to take the kids, then you need to take care of the kids.
Very much so. For them to have gone through all that they had gone through, then be saved, and then be put into another situation, It's so disgusting to me. And
And
yes,
I
Joy, poverty doesn't help either.
Yeah, and I think back because I was like 23 when I was doing that, and it was my first job, and I think how
Oh, wow.
scary that is. A 23-year-old planning other people's lives. That's scary.
Yeah, I'm 24 and I shouldn't have control over my own life at the time. So I can't even
Oh,
imagine.
yeah, yeah. I think back to those days, and I'm like, ooh, glad I made. I mean, and I was going to the Jeffries projects and just in the Detroit area, and I'm just like, what was I thinking? But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, no, like I said before, I just could not do that kind of work. I would really want everybody to come home with me, and I would probably cry all night long.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think it gives me fibromyalgia. I think it's one of the reasons I have the autoimmunes. It really stressed me out.
A lot of
So,
stress.
Okay.
Yeah. I can imagine.
not just
Yeah.
that, because then I moved over and I did the domestic, and I did other areas of social work, and they're all stressful. So
hmm Yeah, I have fibromyalgia and undifferentiated connective tissue disease. So I don't even know what that is, but neither do they.
I've heard of it's. Yeah, I think it's where. Do you have stretchy skin and?
No, it's just I get fevers, I would get rashes and different things like that, and so they just didn't know what was going on. I mean, I would have like 103 fever out of nowhere and not be sick, and so that's how they.
Autoimmune.
Yeah, they thought I had cancer for a little while, and then they did some bone marrow biopsies, which they messed up on, and that sucked really bad.
Ooh, I can't even imagine. Oh,
So yeah, but I didn't have it.
Oh, well,
that's
good.
good. That's good.
Yes.
Fingers crossed for the future.
Okay, so Emily Pike's mother, Steph Docella, I'm going to say Docella, Steph Docella, has shared heartfelt reflections on her daughter's life and the profound grief following her tragic death, describing Emily as a very happy and kind person. She highlighted her daughter's passion for art, noting she loved painting, she loved art, and she loved to draw. Expressing the depth of her sorrow, Docella questioned, "Why did it go that far? She was just an innocent. She was a baby." She further conveyed the pain, stating, "It's pain that I hope no other mother would go through." In a message to her late daughter, Docella affirmed, "You'll never be forgotten. I love you," adding, "Until we meet again, rest in peace." So this underscores the profound loss.
Yeah, that it's tragic. I don't know how anyone could do that to anybody, let alone just likely a stranger. We don't know, but a
Yeah,
little girl
I know.
that
And
didn't do
we've
anything.
hey Justin, it's good to see you. Yeah, we've been following Aubrey Wu's case. She's another 14-year-old girl who went missing, a runaway. And God, I really hope that it doesn't turn out like this. I really, really
Oh
pray.
God.
Yeah, I'm trying to see because I see here it says the San Carlos Apache tribe wants state leaders to launch an investigation and implement stricter regulations for state licensed residential group homes that serve children after a tribal teen ran away. And then it says at the time of her disappearance, she lived in a group home in Mesa. The San Carlos Tribe's Social Service Department placed her at Sacred Journey, Inc., a residential child care center. So it sounds like she was placed in just like a regular residential, because I know when I worked as a social worker, I was contracted through, I worked under Lutheran Social Services, and the state contracted me through Lutheran Social Services, and I had to answer to another social worker above me at the state. So it sounds like it was maybe one of those things where they put them in a home that was contracted through them. So it wasn't just a tribal home, it was just a normal home.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It says in 2023, Emily was placed at Sacred Journey Incorporated, a residential child care center in Mesa. This placement aimed to provide her with a structured environment to address her behavioral and mental health needs. Emily had a history of running away from the group home with multiple incidents reported. And like we said before, she expressed dissatisfaction with the group home's condition, citing frequent arguments between staff and other juveniles, and voiced a desire to return or to not return.
And it says here too that I've got a fruit fly flying around me. That over in the last 3 years, over 30 children have run away from that group home. 30.
Yes, yes. And let's see, we've got statistics on that.
Wow.
In the 3 years preceding Emily's disappearance, approximately 30 children were reported as runaways from the same group home. However, all of these children have been located and accounted for. The only remaining open case involves a girl nearing her 18th birthday whose whereabouts are known, and she is reportedly safe. Given this information, there are currently no children from the group home aside from Emily Pike who were concerned as missing. And then Veronica Cruz is the girl. She was a 17-year-old, was reported missing from the same Mesa group home on May 18th, 2024. She was last seen around 4:55 p.m. that day and may have traveled to areas such as Casa Grande or Eloy. The group home CEO has stated that Veronica is safe, although she does not know her exact location or who she is with.
And how can you verify that she's safe?
Yeah. Veronica is approaching her 18th birthday, and there is an indication that she fears being taken into custody by the Department of Child Safety if she comes forward before then. Mesa Police Department continues to classify Veronica as a missing person. They emphasize the need to physically verify her safety and ensure she is under appropriate guardianship. Authorities encourage anyone with information about her whereabouts to contact them to assist in confirming her well-being. So they're saying she's fine in one hand and then saying they don't know where she is and can't verify it.
Yeah, I can't. It's one or the other.
And they don't have an Amber Alert system on the reservation either, which is insane.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't know that either. They don't have an Amber Alert or a Silver Alert or anything like that. This is where the San Carlos Reservation is.
Oh.
Phoenix is right here. Flagstaff is up here. So I used to live in the Phoenix area for a few months when I was in high school.
Quiet. Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Have you been on
the this right here, this picture here is taken from a screenshot of Chris McDonough's video that he did on Emily Pike.
Uh-huh.
This is actually
a reservation.
I'm sorry, what?
Have you been on this reservation?
No, I have not, but I know some people who have, and actually I should have reached out to her, one of the women that has actually done some ministry out here for years now.
Oh, awesome. You've got the connects.
Yeah, I actually, I know quite a bit of people that used to go out here. So that's the seal of the Apache tribe. And actually, if you guys don't know, yeah, Justin, it did not happen on the reservation. It happened in Mesa. And we don't know where she ended up. We know that she left Mesa and was headed home, but we don't know where she ended up. But they think that she got into a vehicle at the intersection that she was last seen at. So this is just some of the people. And this is actually a history of the reservation. And if you guys don't know, Geronimo was actually part of this tribe. He was a Chiricahua Apache. He was from that band. So and Geronimo lived out his last days in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where I'm from, and he's buried out there at Fort Sill. So
the Chiricahua. Are they the ones that were forced on the Trail of Tears? So
So the Apache, I don't know.
no, I don't think the Apache were actually.
Yeah,
I think the Apache were. I don't know. I don't know my indigenous stuff that well.
Yeah, I know that the Apache, is from the Arizona and Plains area. They stretch quite a ways, but Geronimo was definitely from the Chiricahua tribe, and he was a very, very interesting guy. Definitely go do some research on him. Justin, it says, I don't believe she left on foot. I believe the house manager took her, and I believe she isn't his first. Yeah, allegedly, Justin. Definitely.
Allegedly. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
so
but
I don't want to speak on it.
I
mean,
yeah, I
things
don't
have happened
know
for sure.
I don't know, but Justin, I would love if you could go to my bio and find my email, and if you have any information about that, please send it to me. It's intotheweeds at mbradio.us. And Joyce says, I love Geronimo's story. Visited his grave at Fort Sill. Yeah,
we visited that.
Yeah, we've visited there, and Quanah Parker. Quanah Parker is actually somebody I really, really find fascinating.
And who 1980 millennial painted a portrait of for you.
Yes,
so.
Yes, I'm very excited to get it.
And if anyone's interested, 1980 did a whole video about it and talking about Quanah Parker and his story as well.
Okay, so Justin says Geronimo is actually a Greek word. His sister was a seer like me. Okay.
Well, it says that the Apache were not involved in the Trail of Tears. However, some Apache, including Geronimo and other Apache men, were later imprisoned and transported to the east as prisoners of war, including being held at Fort Pickens and Fort Marion in Florida.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, actually, I forgot that Geronimo did spend some time in Florida. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, and there's a cell there at Fort Sill that Geronimo stayed in. Now, supposedly, he bent the bars, and he was like 80-something years old when he did it. I don't know if that's true or not.
But the bars are bent.
Yeah, the bars are bent, and you can see where, he was pacing back and forth for years. So it's very interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay. And, yeah, it's just horrible what they did to him. But, okay, so support for legislative measures. The tribe supports initiatives like House Bill 2281 aimed at creating an alert system for missing Indigenous persons, enhancing coordination and response times in such cases. These efforts underscore the tribe's commitment to addressing systematic issues, contributing to the vulnerability of its members, and seeking justice for those affected by unresolved cases. Arizona Bill 2281 introduces the Missing Indigenous or Endangered Persons Alert System, designed to address gaps in existing alert mechanisms like Amber and Silver alerts. And like you said, there are no Amber or Silver alerts on reservations, which just blows my mind. I don't even know. I mean, I get that they're separate, but you would have thought that they would have implemented that. So I'm just.
Yeah, I'm shocked, but I think it's because they don't let the FBI on the land, and so I think it had something to do with that. But I'm not sure. I think it's interesting too, because you know how we were stealing the Indigenous children and putting them in our own system, our own education system. Like 1923 is showing a lot of it right now. And I just, June, I just feel like the bird should be in bed. But no, I just feel like the families must be like, to have your child taken from you, they have such trauma from that happening to them anyway, them being stolen. They would come onto their land and they would take their children and put them in these group homes basically and say they were teaching them, educating them and teaching them how to be civilized beings. And there's a Canadian TV show, I forget what the name of it is, but she was stolen like that. And it's a really good something bird, free bird, I don't know. But I mean, this must be so traumatic for the family, because she was basically taken and put into this home, and now she's gone. And we don't have any kind of Amber Alert or anything to try to help them. Now, I had heard that they did have a silver, they had fought and they had just passed and they had gotten the silver alert passed. I thought so, but don't quote me on that. And now they're fighting for the Amber. So, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. But it says existing alerts require specific conditions such as confirmed abduction, amber, or cognitive impairment for silver. The bill allows alerts when an indigenous or endangered person goes missing under unexplained or suspicious circumstances, and law enforcement believes the individual is in danger or with a potentially dangerous person. Now, I think that they should do this for all runaways, honestly.
Yeah.
I hate to cramp the style of the runaways, because we've all been there. We've all, gotten upset and wanted to leave or whatever sometimes.
I packed a bag one time and I got like halfway down the road and was like, this is stupid. It's going to be cold tonight. I don't what am I going to sit on a bench? I'm afraid of my own shadow. Anyway, sorry, that was an inappropriate time to bring that up. My bad. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm a Gen Xer, so when I would try to run away, my mom would be like, okay. But like one time I packed my Barbie bag, I was going to run away, and I was outside and she sent my brother to tell me that I wasn't allowed to cross the street. I could go, but I wasn't allowed to cross the street. And I'm like, this ruins it.
Yeah, I remember actually standing on the front porch with an old milk crate full of my stuff. And I was telling my mom I was leaving.
Your mom was probably like, okay, bye.
Yeah,
well,
my mom.
You're probably one of the older millennials. So yeah, I'm sure your mom said the same thing my mom said. Don't let the door hit you on the butt. Don't cross the busy street.
Yeah, I'm Gen X. I was born in 79.
Oh, okay.
Barely.
Yeah.
Like at the cutoff.
Okay, so up to the 70s, you can find old newspapers advertising indigenous children for sale for $10 by the Catholic Church. I believe that. I really do. Yep. That just breaks my heart.
It is. It's heartbreaking.
The 70s. Wow.
The archivist read. I can't even.
The archivist reads old newspapers about the history of America. I think that's where
the archivist.
Oh, is it the See, you said it.
I was
trying
to say it.
Yeah,
the archivist.
You're right.
Reads old newspapers about the history of America. I think that's where I saw it. Okay. We'll have to look into that. Yeah. This is just so sad. Okay. Existing systems mandate certain investigative thresholds before activation of the alerts. The bill requires law enforcement to utilize all available local resources and determine that public dissemination of information could assist in the safe recovery of the missing person. And then the bill directly addresses the disproportionate number of missing indigenous persons in Arizona, recognizing the need for a specialized alert system to improve response times and recovery efforts for this vulnerable population. Okay. Joy's a Gen Xer too.
I'm Gen Z.
You're a youngin'.
Born in the year 2000.
Okay, these are some statements from the San Carlos Apache tribe. The tribe has been vocal about the need for reforms in group home regulations and has urged the Arizona legislature to pass the bill to establish a missing indigenous person alert system. Chairman Terry Rambler emphasized the importance of justice for Emily and called for public support to generate leads in the investigation. Okay. Emily had a history of running away from the group home with multiple incidents reported in 2023. Concerns were raised about the group home's ability to provide a safe environment for its residents. And the Arizona Department of Child Safety opened a licensing inquiry into the group home following Emily's death. That's a good thing. Okay.
Wrong. I think you're right. They do have they don't have the silver alert.
Oh, they don't?
They're trying to get the silver alert. I think they're trying to call it the turquoise alert.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be really
cool.
Actually, the turquoise alert.
Let's see. Justin says we were 6% of the whole population. I'm not sure what it is now.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Somebody broke it down, and it was like, okay, so if 1% of the population is the indigenous women, and so 1% of the population is at risk and going missing. So if even like 1% is starting to go missing, that's like, if we're like, that's a huge amount of people that we're just like, it's okay, they don't matter, we're not going to look for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
1%
I completely agree.
But the numbers, when they were saying them, like if there was like billions, if there's billions of people in the world, it's still in the millions of people that are going missing and we're not caring about. So that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it really is. And, coming from Oklahoma and moving to the different states that I've lived in, a lot of people will say, I've never met anybody from Oklahoma. And then they'll ask, well, are there still Indians or Native Americans, depending on what their vernacular is.
Who said that?
I've had quite a few people ask me that.
Kidding me?
No, I'm not. I'm not kidding you. From adults to children. So yeah.
Well, we tried to wipe them out, because even like Dark Winds, I watch a lot of TV. Dark Winds is even showing how we were tricking women into when they would come in and have their baby, they would take away their ability to give birth to another child and wouldn't tell them that they were doing this to them, and it was completely legal. So we were trying to wipe out an entire population. It didn't work,
not the first
thankfully,
time.
but that's what our government was actively trying to do.
Yeah, our government unfortunately has a history of doing some really bad things.
And
really underhanded things to Native Americans, and I don't blame them one bit for not trusting the government.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
they've done nothing but do them wrong time and time again, and history tends to repeat itself. And that's all I have to say about current affairs.
Yeah. Okay. So as of March 29, 2025, the investigation into Emily's passing remains active with no arrests made. Authorities continue to analyze evidence, follow leads, and seek information from the public to bring justice for Emily Pike. Memorials and vigils, community members, including indigenous groups and motorcycle clubs. Oh, I'm telling you what, if my internet wasn't so messed up, I would show you guys a video that would just make you absolutely bawl. I came in the house crying after watching it. My husband's like, what is going on? These motorcycle, these guys in an MC. I can't remember what the name of the MC was, but they escorted Emily's hearse from the funeral home to her home on the reservation to lie in wake.
I think I could share it.
Yeah,
No, I think I could share it on my end. You want me to try?
It was definitely.
I can share it on my end. You want me to try to find it and share it?
Yeah. Please do that.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's a motorcycle funeral service.
Yeah. MC escorts Emily Pike.
Oh wait, I think I found it. Let me see if it'll let me share.
Bubble said she saw it. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Let me see.
I gotta add it.
think you have to stop sharing what you're sharing so I can
Okay.
get mine up there. I'm not sure though.
Okay, I think it's up there, but I can't see it, so I don't know what's going on.
Are you sharing what you're sharing still?
I removed it. I added yours.
Hit remove for a second.
Yeah, let
and
me
just
remove
see
it.
if she can do
Okay,
anything.
there you go.
It still is showing yours up on the screen.
Oh, really?
Oh wait, now it's not
'Cause it's
showing
not-
anything up on the
Oh,
screen.
Go ahead
Let me
and
try
click
one
on
more
stage
time.
again. Oh,
No, I don't think I don't see it up there, so. But it's right here down
Okay.
here. I see it in the and it says it's being shared, so I don't know.
well, maybe we can post a link to it on our community tab if we're not able
Oh,
to.
here we go.
Oh,
No.
What? That's just showing.
I don't know what happened there. Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, well.
It's not showing the right one. Hold on, right there.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Let's see if we can get this marked.
Yep.
A teen murdered after leaving a group home in Mesa in January.
Her remains were found weeks later in a remote area outside of Globe, and no one has been brought to justice. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is live in Globe with how the community is honoring Emily. Gabby?
Well, Tram, Rachel, dozens of motorcyclists left here just about an hour ago, escorting the hearse and the family of 14-year-old Emily Pike from the mortuary to her home on the San Carlos Apache Reservation. That's where she'll be lying in wake. Family, friends, and the community are all invited to come pay their final respects through the night and into the morning when she will be laid to rest. Now, those motorcyclists were invited from all over the state and even the country to join this procession. We spoke to one rider who came all the way from New York to be here, saying it is with great honor that he and the others will be guarding and protecting Emily on their final journey home. Along the way, people held up signs for Emily, wanting justice for her and other missing and murdered Indigenous women. Pike was reported missing in late January after leaving a group home in Mesa and was last seen walking near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road. Her remains were found in a wooded area near Globe about 3 weeks later. Emily's story has gained attention from around the state and touched many people, and that's why several people showed up today to pay those respects.
Oh, it means everything to be here today and to be able to escort her on behalf of the family's request. And so it's a wonderful, heartfelt, but also a very heavy-hearted at the same time to be able to do this for her. But we want to do this for her, and we have to do this for her.
Several state and federal agencies are investigating Pike's death, including the Gila County Sheriff's Office. There are no...
That's the gang. It's nice that they made that shirts for her even.
I know.
Yeah,
and the name of that MC was Red Rum. So shout them out if you see them.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So here are, if it works.
Remove it again.
Okay.
I know, poor Emily. It's so sad. I really would like to know. It seems like Justin keeps saying that he thinks the group home, and this is all our opinion, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. He seems to think that the group home staff, somebody there did something to her.
Yeah, you never know.
Don't know anything about it, but stranger things have happened for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And like I said, Chris McDonough from the interview room breaks this case down really well. He's actually there on site, or at least he was a couple days ago. So yeah, please go look at his information.
Yeah, Nancy
and if
Grace
you have any information, yeah, Nancy Grace covered it.
So it's getting attention.
And I think Yeah, I think she's the only mainstream media that has covered it so far.
Because people don't care about Indigenous girls, and it's just so sad.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care. I mean, I don't.
And then to top it off, she was a runaway as well. And so when you have a runaway, it's like they don't even want to do anything, especially if they've dealt with them before. It's like they just kind of, well, like Aubrey's parents, when we were talking to Aubrey's parents, they said that the police officers showed up at the door and said, "Oh, is Aubrey at it again?" You know, and that's kind of the way that a lot of people, you know, take this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you have any information about what happened to Emily Pike, you are urged to contact the Gila County Sheriff's Office at 928-200-2352. And yeah, Justin said she looks like his niece, and she looks so much younger than 14. Actually,
It could be a older photo as well.
yeah, it could be, but yeah, when I first saw her picture, I thought she was like 10 or 11. You know,
She looks really young.
10.
She does.
Yeah.
And so that's all I've got.
Computer's glitching out.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Yeah, that's all I've got. So we are going to just
It'll load up when it loads.
there goes my other screen. It loaded up finally. Okay. So I guess we're just going to call it a night since my internet still sucks really bad. But I want to actually have you on, Amy, another time to talk to you about all the spooky stuff that you deal with.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I've got some pretty cool interviews coming up with the spooky stuff. I don't know if you guys remember Ghost Hunters when they went to Europe, but I have a friend that was on the show, and she's going to come on, and we're going to talk about what she's been up to. And she also knows, do you remember the treehouse murders? She was a dominatrix, and she lured her friend up into the tree house. I have her up over on my TikTok because I've been wanting to cover her for a while. Julia Enright. She lives near there, so I have a lead. So and she has some photos of the actual tree house. So we're gonna kind of do something spooky, true crimey type deal. And I've got a psychic coming on. And there's somebody else, but I forget. Ghost Adventures. You know, there's that the wife is trying to put out a hit on. We're gonna cover that. So
okay.
Wow.
I just wish the bird would go to sleep. I'm so irritated. I'm sorry, you guys.
Funny.
I'm sorry. And he's got the bell, and I can't just reach down and grab it because he's in a drawer and he'll bite me. So I can't just get the bell from him.
Oh,
no. I haven't had birds since I was a teenager. My stepdad put birds in my room to annoy me.
It's like having a 3-year-old, and I think he's going to probably be alive for 30 years. So I've got a 3-year-old for 30 years. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love him. I love him. I wouldn't get rid of him, but I would rethink I would rethink it. I would rethink it probably. I love him, and I wouldn't get rid of him.
30 years.
Oh, wow. Older than me.
I know. Okay.
Oh. Wasn't expecting that. I think, are we still on? Is it me, or is it just me, or did we get lost with me? What do you think, Susan? I don't know what happened. Do you? I think it's just me. Say hi. We'll stay for just a second to see if they're coming back. And if they're not, then I will sign off. This is the little menace that has been bothering you guys all night. Junebug Cash is his name. Cash is after his dad. Yeah, I just lost my little chihuahua in September, Maybelline, and I grieve her so hard. I had her for 14 years. I got her actually as a social worker. She was one of my clients and dogs, and they weren't taking care of her. I'm from Michigan, and they were keeping her out on the breezeway with no heat for like, I don't know. So I was going to rehome her, and she stayed with me for 14 years. And when I went through everything I went through, she saved me, and I just miss her tremendously. So, yeah, I was actually on the air when it happened, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're coming back. So, maybe I should leave. I don't know. Maybe I should skedaddle. Okay, guys. Well, well, you know what? Since I'm here and can I present things? Can I add things to the stage? Because I could do a little outro for you guys. Let me see if I can do a little outro. Like I said, there is a family. Oh, they're coming back. There is a family over on TikTok. I was just showing up Junebug. I was getting ready to go. I told them about my dog passing. And
we've been trying to end the stream for a while because we couldn't see you.
I was like, well, should I go? What should I do?
Okay.
Keeping it running.
There is a family over on TikTok that is missing one of their family members, and they are sending me that information. It's an indigenous family, so we might be working a family. I was just telling them working a family from the ground up. So if there are any indigenous families that would like us to feature them, I would love to, and I'm sure we talked a little bit about it before. If you would like both of us to feature you like in this kind of way, we could interview you through a live, or interview you privately and then bring you on, or however. It doesn't have to be a live. We can turn it into a video. So if you need help, just let us know. We're small, we're micro.
Yeah, definitely. Please reach out if you want your story told. And so we're going to try and end again before we get kicked off again.
Sorry, yeah, we just don't want it to.
Have a blessed night, everybody.
Thank you so much for coming.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Oh, it worked. Maybe. Oh my goodness.
Oh. Seems like it.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.